Not only are the Minnesota Vikings having a phenomenal season, it's the people that got them there that deserve all the recognition, and people are starting to open their eyes. Let's talk about it. The Minnesota Vikings are 32-16 over the course of the last 3 seasons, and that is mainly due to the 2 hires that they made after firing Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman in the 2021 season. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah was hired shortly after the 2021 season to become the new general manager on a 4-year contract, and then after the Super Bowl, he officially hired Kevin O'Connell to become the Vikings' next head coach. And those hires have proved to be huge for the Vikings. 32-16 is a bonkers good record for any team, let alone a team that was honestly looking at a rebuild, because they had a lot of big cap hits with guys who, quite frankly, were not playing up to that level anymore. Players like Adam Thielen. Those guys ended up getting moved on from, and including Kirk Cousins, who just got benched, by the way, in Atlanta. And they've prioritized trying to get younger players, better fits for the organization, both schematically and in the locker room. And in doing so, they have prioritized what they call competitive rebuild. We know we have work to do with the roster, and we're going to do that work, but we are still going to try and win and be competitive. And people were up in arms about it. Why? Oh, you have to do a full rebuild. You can't do the soft rebuild. You're never going to get good players that way. Well, they found Jordan Addison at 23rd overall, found JJ McCarthy at 10th, and then Dallas Turner at 17th. They are finding good players, and they're finding fantastic fits so far in free agency. Has there been a better free agent class in a long time than the Minnesota Vikings this year? Jonathan Gennard, Andrew Van Ginkel, both playing at Pro Bowl levels. So is Blake Cashman at linebacker. Stephon Gilmore and Shaq Griffin have been more than capable players on the outside at cornerback. It's been a really, really impressive group, and it's about finding the right fits. Then you talk about Christian Darrisaw going out with a torn ACL and MCL against the Rams to end the season. What do? They trade for Cam Robinson, who's been a plus starter at left tackle. Look, we're not going to fool ourselves. He's not Christian Darrisaw, but he has been a plus starter for the Minnesota Vikings, and that matters. They're trying to make a playoff run. They need a left tackle, and they got one. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has not nearly gotten the amount of publicity that he should, because everybody's obsessed with Howie Roseman and, oh, they got Saquon Barkley, where anybody who knew anything knew that if you brought in Saquon Barkley, he was going to be great for you. The only question was, could he stay healthy? And so far he has. Yeah, he got Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean in the first 2 rounds of the draft. Cool. But what else has he done? How many guys have flopped with Howie Roseman? What about that free agent class? Bryce Huff, what's he done? Zach Bond's been a good find, but Kwesi Adofo-Mensah has done so much more with less. $70 million in dead salary cap space. A team that nobody expected anything from. They were expected to win 6.5 games with the preseason win probability. 6.5. And they are way overachieving. Why? We talked about in the last video. Winning on the margins. Coaching. They're doing a phenomenal job across the board. This Vikings organization has been fantastic. They are dominating. They're playing great football. And they're doing so because of the people in charge. And we haven't even talked about O'Connell yet, who has taken Sam Darnold and made him a viable franchise quarterback. He has taken an offense and elevated it to a point where this team could realistically make a true Super Bowl run. You lose Christian Darrisaw. You don't have TJ Hawkinson for half the season. You miss Jordan Addison for multiple games. And those multiple games did not have TJ Hawkinson. What did they do? They whipped the San Francisco 49ers. They pulverized the Houston Texans. Kevin O'Connell has elevated everybody on that offense. They have won 5 games in a row, and then they won 7 games in a row. This Vikings team is great because of these 2 men. And Kevin O'Connell, according to the executive poll that Tom Pelissero did, is the runaway favorite for head coach of the year. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, 4th in executive of the year. But when you look at preseason expectations versus how they delivered and what players were acquired to help deliver that, I think that's going to change very quickly. These 2 deserve all the accolades, all the awards, and it's about time that national media really gives them the attention and praise that they deserve, because they've deserved it for a long time. But we're not from New York, we're not from Green Bay, and we're not from Dallas. From Minnesota. We're tired of being nice about it. I'm Tyler Forness with ADZ Sports. Skol Vikings.